so many messages from all of you saying, I feel stuck. I feel stuck. I want to do something different with my career or my job. I don't know what to do, and I don't have the skills to do something different because I've been trained in this one area. So if you can relate to that, I'm going to walk you through how I did it and how you can too. But first of all, I want to show you my new skirt. I just got a new skirt and it's a bit flamenco like. Give me a second. You see it? You see it? You see it? This is usually what's known. Just like this. All right. Listen to flamenco music. All right. So now that I got that out of my system, I'm going to talk about a situation where a student sent me a message. Actually, I got quite a few messages about this, but I'm going to read one out for you. And this is what this girl said. Okay, and I'm sure that she's not the only person that feels, because I remember feeling like this. So this is the message that she sent to me. Okay, so many was talking about, we're in our 30s. I'm in my 30s, and I've been doing a job for a decade that isn't the right fit, but I don't know what else I can do. Okay, and so I said to her, "Can you explain to me a bit more about how you're feeling, right? What do you worry about?" She said, "It's wanting to do something else for a job or an income, but worrying that I have no skills or no other skills except for the career that I've had to date. And also worrying that I'm too old to start again. For reference," she said, "I'm 37. I guess the challenge is knowing about the other options available to make an income and believing it's not too late to start something new. I think for people my age who were brought up thinking a traditional/corporate job was the only path available. But now with the rise of online businesses and technology and even AI, there might be many other options out there that don't need a university degree or years of training." Okay? I really relate hard to this. I know that many other people feel the same, because I remember feeling that same way when I was in my corporate job. And I remember thinking, I hear about all these people who get hired as consultants, but I'm not skilled enough to be hired as a consultant. For reference, I was working in a bank. I said, but I don't have any of the skills. I don't have any of the skills that somebody would pay me and hire me to do. So where do I go from here? I felt I was in a generic job, and I didn't know what else I could be paid for apart from being in the bank. And so if you relate to this, and if you hopefully want to know a solution to this, before we begin, a lot of the times I notice people watch the videos till the end, but they forget to put like. So just put a little cheeky like button now or there, wherever it is for you. So I'm going to begin now. So first of all, I wrote this down for you here. First of all, I want you to know that this was me 7 years ago. Okay, so, and I've gone through that process, and now I earn a full-time income from my own business, and I've gone through many different jobs and been paid for many different jobs outside my banking job over the last 8 years. Okay, so I've gone through that journey of feeling self-doubt, feeling not knowing how I can get hired, learning different skills, getting paid for different jobs, and then finding that blogging worked for me, and blogging is what I enjoy and makes me the most money. Okay, so first things first, I want you to sit down, and this is very cliche, but I really want you to do this, is write down, what do you enjoy? Okay, what do you enjoy? Do you like reading? Do you like gardening? Do you like writing? Do you like watching movies? Whatever. Write down, what do you enjoy? Do you like teaching people? Do you like helping people? Then I want you to write next to it on a separate column, what are you good at? What are you good at? Do you have analytical skills? Are you good at writing? Are you good at teaching? Are you good at spreadsheets? You need to write down what you're good at. And if you're in a corporate job, chances you are good at something, okay? I mean, when I was in my corporate job and I was trying to figure out what is it that I enjoy and what I'm good at, I wrote down, I like to write. I literally put, I like to write. I like to write, and I like to teach people stuff. Like, if somebody asked me for a new, how to hike in New Zealand in this area, I would love to teach them that. So I would teach them for free. So teaching And writing was, for me, what I came up with. And it might be something totally different for you. It could be that you love, I don't know, cooking, gardening, whatever. Write down what you like and write down what you're good at. You've done that? Okay, now I want you to harness the free power of going to Google or Bing or Pinterest and put into the search bar jobs for people who are good at writing, gardening, teaching, singing, art. Jobs for people that enjoy art, gardening. Write that, put that into the, we have a beautiful big world wide web out there with all the information at your fingertips. We live in a really amazing time where all the information is at your fingertips for free. You don't have to go to the encyclopedia. Go into the search bar and put jobs for people who like X, jobs for people who are good at Y. Because what I did when I found that was I discovered that jobs for people who like to write were writer, proofreader, I mean, I can't remember what else, loads of other jobs, but those were the first things that came up to mind. Another job, when I said jobs for people who like to talk, I like to chat away and talk. Teacher, online teacher came up. You might come up with loads of ideas. And then you might sit there and be like, well, I'm here and that job is there. I don't know how to do that. I don't have the skill, right? And this is the beauty of it. You pick one job. There could be many that you're interested in. And I know you're thinking, but what if I pick the wrong one? Pick one for now. And I want you to upskill to be good at that job, that thing that you've Googled, that you've decided on. Or is it like, let's just say you want to become, I know somebody that runs really cool workshops, cooking workshops. Okay, Italian cooking workshops or Malaysian cooking workshops. And let's say you say, okay, I like to cook and I like to teach. So I want to teach people how to cook in my kitchen. All right, Google how to run a cooking workshop. Okay, that is a skill that you need to learn. Okay, now there's two ways to learn the skill. One is the fast one, one's the slow one. If you have a budget, if you have some money saved, the quickest way is to buy a course. That's what I do. I save up, I hustle, find other ways, I sell my clothes on Facebook Marketplace, and you buy a specific course for that skill. So for example, if you're an accountant, you're sick of your job and you want to work for yourself, online bookkeeper. Buy a course on online bookkeeping, it will turn you into an online bookkeeper, right? There's courses for proofreading, courses for freelance writing, courses for social media managers, courses for Pinterest managers. So many courses out there, okay? If you can afford that, Google those courses. If you can't afford it, not a problem. You have to pay with your time, which means you have to go on YouTube, you have to go on Google, and just know it will take you longer. That's okay because you don't have the money. It's okay, no problem. Okay, so I was in two situations where I initially didn't have money, so I used this kind of sweat equity. So I had to learn, go on YouTube, and then I saved up by doing odd jobs here and there and selling my clothes, and then I saved up for a course. Okay, so you are the beauty of this is you are a skill away from achieving your dreams. And I remember this because I remember when I was I was in New Zealand and there was a girl that came over and I was living in a shared flat and she was a freelance writer. And I remember thinking, wow, she gets paid to write? People pay her to write and travel? Oh my God, And I remember thinking, man, how will I ever live that dream life? Turns out you can take a course on how to become a freelance writer and you can become a freelance writer, done, right? So everything you want, every goal that you have, you are one skill away or a few skills away from achieving it, okay? And it just takes time. People think, oh, it's going to happen overnight. No, you just have to be patient and realize if you consistently work at it, that skill will eventually be developed. Similar to the way you go to the gym and your muscles develop if you keep practicing over time. You're not going to go to the gym once, do a hard workout and be like, where are my muscles? Where are my muscles? No, you have to consistently work out, train your muscles. Similar to the skill, you get better. Okay? Now, another point that you made, the girl made in her DM, where she said, I'm too old. I mean, 37? You're a young spring chicken, man. 37 nothing. 37? Wow, life begins at 40, I think. So she says it's too old. And here is a real thing that I experienced. It actually doesn't take you that long in the grand scheme of life and living. it doesn't take you that long to master a new career. And when I say that long, I say 5 years. Okay, for going from zero, not knowing anything about it, to becoming the best that you can, like to becoming the best that you want and being successful and people look at you as skilled, takes for me around 5 years. Okay, so I've been blogging now for nearly 8 years. I'd say at year 5 is when I was like, okay, I'm very comfortable, I'm skilled. Similar when I joined, when I studied law, and I was like, oh, it's so difficult. When I did banking, it took me 5 years to finally feel confident and be viewed by others as skilled in that area. So if you look at your lifetime, you're 37. If you're watching this and someone's like, I'm 37, I'm too old. 37, okay? Just know if you start now, in 5 years' time, your life is going to be totally different and you will have a totally new, different career that you're earning from. Okay? If you're willing to accept that, just like any other career, it takes time. Okay? 37 is not so. I know people, look, was it KFC? He started at 80, I think. There are people who start at 60, 70, and it takes, I reckon, 5 years, but you're not going to be earning your first dollar in 5 years. I'd say it takes a lot less than that if you consistently work at it. But to become to the point where you're like, wow, I'm experienced in this area, 5 years, and that's not that long in the grand scheme of life. Okay, and so I don't think it's too late at all. 37 is not. 40 is not too old. 50 is not too old. Okay, and so here's a big thing, right? Let's say, because I know this is a fear I had. I was like, well, what if I try this thing, I upskill, and I realize I hate it and I'm not good at it and I don't want to do it? I've wasted my time. I've wasted my money. I've wasted my energy. And here is a reality. The thing that you pick, chances are it's not going to be the one that you're going to end up with. Okay? The thing that you decide when you Google and you pick that job, it will help you guide you if that is the thing that you end up with, great, you're lucky, excellent. But what I found based on my experience and my students' experience and people around me is it becomes a signpost to something else which you would never even explore if you hadn't tried. So for example, I started becoming a proofreader. I thought when I quit my corporate job, I was a proofreader. And I thought, I think I Googled best jobs for those who like to write. Proofreader came up. Okay, so I did a course on proofreading. And I was like, all right, I'm going to become a full-time proofreader. I realized I hate it. It was tedious. It was hard work. I wasn't very good at it. But then it opened up my eyes. While I was doing proofreading, I realized there's another job out there, online teaching. And then I tried that. And then I tried freelance writing. And then I tried social media management. Then I did Pinterest manager. Then I became a virtual assistant. Then I became a blogger. So you are going to find jobs along the way that you're going to upskill and learn. And it's like you're climbing up the mountain and you're just making your way, upskilling, adding another, was it an arrow to your bow or something? But you are going to find jobs along the way, and it may not be the final job you end up with, but it will be a signpost. Okay, so don't feel scared like, oh, I don't know if it's the wrong decision. It may be the wrong decision, and that's okay, but you will not get to the end if you didn't start. I would not be where I am today, 8 years later, earning a full-time income and more for my blog. My blogs have bought me a house, helped me invest, help fund my lifestyle and travel. I would not be here if I hadn't taken that first step by doing proofreading and learning the skill of proofreading. Okay, so I mean, there's so many jobs out there. You can do transcription, you can run makeup tutorials, you can. I recently read there was somebody who was a friendship coach earning money. They were earning so much money. Friendship coach. Who would have known? There's friendship coaches out there. Okay, I know somebody who was an engineer and then eventually became a technical writer. She became a technical writer. So she's a freelance writer, but her niche was technical for engineering. Wow, she gets paid a lot. Okay, so just know that there are so many jobs out there that we may not even realize, but may not even realize until we start. Okay, so I want to end this with, let's take it back and say, where do we begin? So I want you to start by putting the things you're good at, putting the things you enjoy, go into a search engine, Bing, Pinterest, Google, whatever works, YouTube, jobs for people who like X, jobs for people who are good at Y, brainstorm, put those down, pick one, focus, and try and get good at that. You might decide you hate it, that's fine, cross it out. Let's move on to the next thing. Eventually something will come up, something will stick, okay? So now the thing is, I want to share a mistake that a lot of people do, and I certainly didn't realize this, is firstly, I call it the fall from grace syndrome. Okay, the fall from grace syndrome is, so you're in your corporate job, you're well respected, you have a lot of experience, you're paid, probably quite well, and you're like, well, if I become an online teacher, if I become a freelance writer, I'm not going to be paid as much. I'm not as well respected. I'm going to start at the bottom again. I really, really struggle with this. So I'm like, I've always experienced in the corporate world, but now I'm grappling with all these I'm literally nobody starting afresh. And the thing is, you need to realize is you aren't starting from the bottom again. You are building on your experience. So you already have this experience, right? You have this experience. So let's just say you have this experience here when you're all this corporate job. You are continuing up the mountain from here, not from here. You already are building on your experience. And I would not be here today without my experience in the past in my corporate world. Okay, so don't feel like you're starting from the bottom. You are building on your experience so you can move up higher. Okay, so that's the first thing, is knowing that you aren't falling from grace. You are building on your skill. And number two is, you're not going to be paid the same because you are starting from in a new area, and you need to accept that. And my ego needed to accept that. So I felt it was really difficult because I went from earning a really well paid corporate job to then suddenly charging $10-15 an hour teaching kids in China, right, online. And I was like, I'm earning peanuts. How am I going to survive? This is so embarrassing. This is, I'm selling myself short. And it's like, listen, sometimes you need to take a step back so you can jump. Okay, sometimes for your own you need, think about intern. When an intern goes into work for a company, sometimes they get paid not at all, and sometimes they don't get paid very well, but it's the experience you're getting. Okay, and then once you've done that, you can work on it and build on it. Okay, and so another mistake I think people make is I'm gonna put it on here. Yeah, they give up because they get rejected. Okay, so for example, when you begin, whatever is it, you want to become a coach, you're going to experience failure, and it's gonna suck. But I want you not to take it personally. Too often I see a lot of people take failure personally, and they're like, well, this is a sign. This is a sign that it's not meant to be. It's not a sign. Failure, it means that you're trying. It means you're stepping out your comfort zone. And success comes to those who are willing to push through the hard, push forward, deal with the failure, and bounce back and bounce back. Because everybody else would just give up and fall behind and not try anymore. But you're going to keep on trying, and eventually something will stick. Okay, you're going to get rejected. You're going to be told no. It is not something that you need to take personally. Every single successful person has experienced failure and been told no. Okay, don't let that define a sign that you shouldn't continue. Okay, now two more things, and this one you may not like to hear, is some people don't try hard enough. They think trying is enough. No, you need to try hard. An example of this was a girl. She wants to become a full-time freelance writer. She wants to quit her corporate job. She hates her corporate job. She's really unhappy. I said, okay, how many jobs have you applied to? So she's been trying this for 3 months. Okay, she's been trying to find a freelance writing job for 3 months. I said, how many applications have you made? How many clients have you pitched to? She said, maybe 4 or 5. I said, what? 4 or 5? When I was hustling and trying, I wanted to try hard. I was making 4 or 5 per day. And you might be like, well, that's unrealistic. I don't have the capacity. No problem. But just know the bare minimum is 1 a day. The bare minimum. Because if you are doing 4 or 5 over the last 3 months, that's just not enough. You have to increase your opportunity. So there's more luck. The luckiest people are the ones that work hard and create most opportunity, right? And so if you're kind of half-heartedly doing it, going half in, pick one and go hard at it. That needs to be all your focus, okay? And it's like, don't just like 1 or 2 get rejected. Oh, it's meant to be. No, keep going, keep pushing, right? And finally, this is a huge, huge thing, right? A lot of people, they try and take on this new skill or try and learn something new and think that they can maintain their life as it is. And that's not the reality. And you may not want to hear this, but you can't have it all at the time. So, for example, you might be super social, you might be into fitness, and you want to learn a new skill. You need to realize that some things are going to fall and some things are going to fall behind, and that's okay. So it might be you may not have as much time for your kids, but that's a short term sacrifice you're making for this long term gain. For me, when I am really, really heavy into learning a new skill, unfortunately, my fitness suffers. I can't run as much, I can't exercise as much, but it's a short term thing. And giving yourself permission to fail in other areas while you try and focus and learn to succeed. Because I notice some of you beat yourself up, you're like, I'm not even good at this new skill. I'm failing as a mom. I'm failing as a partner. I'm failing in my fitness. I'm failing everywhere. Listen, if you are trying a new skill and you're learning something new, your energy and focus is going into that. And that's okay if the other parts of your life take a back seat temporarily. It is the cost you're paying, right? And so it's the short term cost you're paying for the long term gain. So for me, I had to give up a lot of my free time with friends. I had to give up a lot of my hikes that I used to do in order for me to build this blog. All I remember at 3 a.m, just exhausted, just will this ever work out? Will this, everybody's out partying, have a good time, and I'm sitting there writing blog posts. And the cost I paid was my time and energy and my fun temporarily. So now I travel the world and can earn. That is the temporary cost. And give yourself permission to fail in other areas so you can focus on one area and succeed in one area. Okay? Well, I hope that answers your question. If you have any more questions, add them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. Send me a DM on Aisha Priest on Instagram. I always reply. Thank you for listening. And if you have any other topics you'd like me to discuss, if you have any questions on this, send me a message. Do it, write a comment, and then I can create more for you. Thanks for listening.